Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Welcome to the Disney Days Planning Podcast. This podcast is information about Walt Disney World, which is organized by topic. I'm your host, Alyssa Salveson. Hello. This is Alyssa. Welcome to episode 2 of the Disney Days Planning Podcast. This episode is titled Disney World 101, where I am going over basics, very basic, brief overview of what Walt Disney World encompasses. Basically, each category I talk about today, I will have a separate episode on going much farther into detail about it. So this truly is just a brief overview so you can be prepared if you're headed to Disney World soon. First of all, Walt Disney World is located in the Orlando area of Florida. It is not in California. That is called Disneyland. And I'm not an expert in that. So this podcast is about Disney World, which is located in the Orlando area of Florida. Disney World consists of 4 theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, which formerly was called MGM. So when I was a child, it was MGM, and Animal Kingdom. Each theme park, you need a ticket to enter. There are different purchasing options for tickets. I will have a whole episode on tickets. But you can buy tickets as a package when you book a resort if you stay on Disney property, or you can purchase tickets separately. You can buy a 1-day ticket up to a 10-day ticket. You can buy the tickets for 1 park per day, or add a hopper option, which would allow you to go to multiple parks a day. You can buy tickets straight through Walt Disney World, or you can buy through a third party like Theme Park Frog or whatever. I'll talk about that when I talk about tickets. You can also purchase tickets that have a water park and mini golf option as well, or you can just buy tickets just for the theme parks. There's a whole variety of different ticket types. And like I said before, I will have a separate total episode just about tickets. But the important thing to know is you need to have a ticket in order to enter any of the theme parks and water parks, which I will talk about in a little bit. Each theme park has a variety of attractions, entertainment, dining, and shopping. And that includes rides, shows, fireworks spectaculars, character interactions, and each theme park has their own vibe. I'll talk about each theme. My next 4 episodes will be breaking down each of the theme parks. There are different dining options within Walt Disney World. And the theme parks in Walt Disney World. There are stands where you can get like popcorn and snacks and drinks, things like that. There are quick service restaurants where you can do something called mobile ordering, where you can just order right through an app on your phone. I'll talk about the app in a minute. It's called My Disney Experience. But a quick service. It's like fast food. And you can order it in advance, making it even faster. And there's also sit-down dining options at each of the theme parks as well. I will have a whole episode breaking down different dining options. There are also character meals that are in each theme park. And that's where you sit down. Those are sit-down dining, and there are characters there. So it's a great way to get some character interaction and also have a sit-down meal. They are expensive, however. Within Walt Disney World, there are also 2 water parks. They are also a ticketed thing. You would need tickets to enter the water parks as well. The water parks are Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. There are over 25 resorts in Disney World. There's 4 different levels of resort. There's value resorts, which are the least expensive. Then there's moderate, which is in the middle, and then there are deluxe resorts. And I hesitated when I said 4, because there's also deluxe villas. So they're within a deluxe resort, but the villas are open for Disney Vacation Club members, but you, as maybe not a Disney Vacation Club member, can rent those villas. So again, I will go very much into detail about all things like that, but there are different levels of resorts within Walt Disney World is the biggest takeaway, and you can likely find something within your budget. There's also Friends of Disney resorts. It's not like run by Disney, but that you still get all the benefits you would by staying at a Disney resort. And those benefits are you get transportation that's included in the price of your resort. It's not an additional price to pay. So for example, if you're staying off property or on property and you took like a Lyft or an Uber or a taxi, you'd have to pay for that transportation. If you're staying on property in Disney World or at a Friend of Disney resort, there's transportation that's included it's like free, but you paid for that by staying on property. You also get 30 minutes of early entry to the theme parks each day. And if you're staying in a deluxe resort, you get 1 day a week at Magic Kingdom, 1 day a week at Epcot. You get extra hours once the park closes, which personally I think is a huge benefit. But those are some perks about staying on property. Another perk about staying on property, you can book lightning lanes, and I will go into detail about what lightning lanes are a little later, but you can book lightning lanes and multi-pass reservations earlier than other guests. So if you're staying on property, you can book those lightning lanes 7 days in advance, but everyone else can book only 3 days in advance. Same with if you're staying on property, you can also make your dining reservations for the length of your stay, 60 days from the first day of check-in for the whole stay. Where if you're not staying on property, you just have 60 days. So you'd have to, like, if you're going for a 7-day trip every day for 7 days, 60 days before check-in, you'd have to wake up early and go on and make your reservations. But if you're staying on property, you're able to just book all your reservation for the whole dining reservations for the whole trip on the 60 days from the first day of check-in, which is a big benefit actually, if there's certain dining that you want that are hard to get. Walt Disney World, besides everything I just talked about, they also have lots of shopping. There's gift shops, of course, all over the place. And there are stores in each theme park. But in addition to that, there are shopping areas as well. So the largest shopping area is Disney Springs. So it has tons and tons and tons and tons of stores. Disney stores, Uniqlo, all sorts of stores. Vera Bradley. You could go online and look. I'll have an episode about Disney Springs because there's really so much to offer there. But there's a ton of shopping options. There are also a lot of restaurants there too. There's bakeries and traditional restaurants and bars. It's a lot of fun. Disney Springs also has a lot of entertainment, actually. It's a great place to go. And to go to Disney Springs, you do not need a ticket. In the entertainment, there's a whole bunch of things. There's a little carousel and a little train ride that young kids love. There are vintage amphicar tours, which are like cars, but they are also boats. They're very cool. There's also like a hot air balloon thing. It's called an aerofoil. That's something else there. There used to be a drone show. It closed, but it was a nighttime spectacular. But I wouldn't be surprised if Disney brought something like that back. So it's no longer available, but if you're listening to this, there might be something similar coming soon. There's Cirque du Soleil there, which you would need a ticket to. There's a Cirque du Soleil show, and it's called Drawn to Life, and it like incorporates Disney in it. There's lots of different live entertainment, lots of bands all around. There's a bowling alley at Disney Springs, Splitsville it's called, and there's a dine-in theater. So tons to do at Disney Springs. And again, in order to go there, you don't need a ticket just to like go to Disney Springs. Disney Springs used to be called Downtown Disney. So if you're a millennial like me, you might remember Downtown Disney, but they changed the name to Disney Springs. Another fun area where you don't need a ticket to go to is the Disney Boardwalk, which is by Epcot. It's in between like Epcot and Hollywood Studios. The boardwalk area is really, really cool. There's 3 different resorts there, but there's also tons of restaurants. They just opened a new cake shop there. There are shops, again, lots of shops there. There are street performers that come out. It's really, really fun. It's like an old Jersey boardwalk vibe. It's very cool. I'm also a New Jerseyan, so I particularly love it because it reminds me of like Atlantic City and the boardwalks that I grew up going to. There's street performers. There's also a piano bar called Jelly Rolls. It is a lot of fun. That though is for 21 and up. That is not kid friendly. It's not a place you could bring your kids unless they're over 21, but it is tons of fun. They have dueling pianos. It's just a lot. It's a great time. And then there's also a dance hall there at the boardwalk. So the boardwalk area is a really cool area too. And like I said before, you don't need a ticket in order to go there. There are over 200 restaurants, both in and outside of theme parks within Walt Disney World. There are golf courses in Walt Disney World. There's one at Saratoga Springs and one at the Polynesian. So you can play golf if you're a golfer. There's mini golf. You can play mini golf at Disney World. There's a pet resort. There's ESPN Wide World of Sports. And there's lots, like I was saying before, if you stay on Disney property, there's a lot of different transportation. There are tons of transportation options, which include buses, tons of Disney buses. There's a monorail, which you may have heard of before. That's actually the opening to my podcast. That's the little opening you hear on a monorail. There's a Skyliner, which goes to a few different resorts, and it goes to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. There are boats and ferries throughout Disney property. Lots of walking paths. You can walk to certain parks from certain resorts. There's a minivan, which is a cool option. That is not included in the price. That's operated through Lyft. So you would order it through a Lyft app and pay for it through Lyft. But it's a cool option, and they have a contract with Disney World, so they can get you really closer to where a regular Lyft or Uber wouldn't. I did minivan one of my recent trips, and it was really cool option. And of course, you can Uber, Lyft, taxi. They're not provided by Disney, so if you're staying on Disney property, it's not included. You have to pay for that separately. But those are, of course, options you can take to get around Walt Disney World. Okay? Now, if you're going to Walt Disney World, the closest airport is MCO, Orlando International Airport. So that's where you'd fly into. And then you'd work on transportation from the airport to your designated resort, whether that's a Mears bus or an Uber or a Lyft, something like that. Tickets. I kind of explained tickets before, but I'll just reiterate here that there's a lot of different ticket options. I'll go into detail on that in a separate episode because it's a little confusing and I need more than, this episode can handle to explain everything. But an important distinction again is you can get a single day, like a single park per day. So you go to one park, like Epcot on one day, Hollywood Studios on one day, Magic Kingdom on one day, whatever, or 3 days of Epcot, but just one park per day. Or you can add a hopper option to that where you could go to multiple parks a day. And that is unlimited. You can go to all 4 parks in one day if you wanted, or just 2, but more than 1. Okay? And then some tickets, again, include mini golf and water park access as well. There's also annual passes, which I'll talk about in the episode about tickets. So once you get your ticket, it's digital. So you can buy your tickets through My Disney Experience. That is an app you will need to download on your phone. You can also access it on the computer on a browser. If you're going to Disney World, you're going to need someone in your party is going to need that app on their phone. So you can purchase your tickets right through there, and then you can save your tickets to, if you have an iPhone, you can save it to your wallet, and you can use your phone to enter the park. You can use it for your lightning lanes if you have them booked. You can save it right to your phone. You could also get a card at guest services. You could go over there before you enter the theme park, and they'll give you a card, and you can use that as your ticket. It's a little plastic card, like a credit card, but that will act as your ticket for the length of your stay. Or you could purchase a magic band. So if you're staying on property and you booked your resort, that would be an option to see if you wanted to add on magic bands. You don't have to. That's not something that's a necessity. You can have a lovely time at Walt Disney World without purchasing a magic band, but some people like them and they're a cute little souvenir. You can reactivate them from time. I mean, it'll stay if you book another trip, it'll stay with your My Disney experience. So it's pretty simple. But you could purchase a magic band, and that's like a watch, sort of. It's a bracelet you'd wear on your wrist, and that can get you. You can open your resort room with. You can enter the theme parks with. You can actually, if you're staying on property, you can charge things through your magic band as well to your resort room at the park. So for example, like if you're going to the booths at Epcot, you can do that. You can scan your magic band and what you're buying will charge to your resort. You can purchase a magic band. You can buy it again through, if you're staying on property, there'll be a prompt for you to add magic bands when you're staying on property, or you can buy them separately through Disney, or while you're in Walt Disney World, or you can even buy them like on Amazon or online somewhere. So there's a lot of options for that. So that's how you would hold your ticket, either on your phone, in a card, or in a magic band. My Disney experience I mentioned briefly, but it's an app or a website, but you're going to need to do that. You'll log in there. All your information will be there. You'll see all your dining reservations or your lightning lanes that you already booked, your plans, your park if you have if you have to make park reservations, you'll see them there too. Not everyone does. If you have a date-based ticket, so if you like buy a date for a ticket based on like date range, I'll talk about all this during tickets. I know it's very complicated, but for me, I have an annual pass, so I need to make a park reservation. I'll see my park reservations in my Disney experience. Any extras that you book, if you're booking, this is something I'm going to talk about in a second. There's a lot of extras, tours. There's special events like the Christmas party or the Halloween party, things like that. You'll see all that in My Disney Experience. So you're going to need that app. I will do an episode on My Disney Experience likely. There's lightning lanes. I kind of brushed through this, but there's a thing called a lightning lane, and sort of a skip the line pass. Not quite, just means skip the standby line and you'd go to a shorter line, but it's a paid experience. In the past, they used to be free. It's no longer free. It's a paid experience, and it changes a lot. So this is an episode I will do separate, and I'm likely going to have to keep editing it because they change things a lot. But right now, how Lightning Lane works is there's three different options. One, there's a single pass, a Lightning Lane single pass. So that means you can buy a single pass for a single ride, and you can buy 2 a day of your vacation. So if you really want to ride Tron and you don't want to wait in line, you can purchase Tron. And you can do that, like I said before, if you're staying on property, you can do that 7 days in advance. If you're not staying on property, you can do that 3 days in advance. You can buy 2 a day. So in Magic Kingdom, let's say I want to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron, and I could buy those 2 rides, and then that's it. Or you could buy a multi-pass, which means, and you buy that per day. So, like for the day. So if I was going to Magic Kingdom, I could buy a multi-pass for Magic Kingdom. And then 7 days before my trip, I'm able to make 3 advanced reservations. There's different tier. I'm going to have a whole episode about this. I'll describe in detail, but basically there's options to maybe not wait in as long a lines as other people, but with a price. It comes with a price. So there's a single pass where you buy 1 ride. You can buy up to 2 a day. Or a multi-pass where you can ride a lot of different rides a day, but you can only book 3 in advance. And then once you scan into your first one, you can book another one. So then there's also, they just announced a Premier Lightning Pass, a Premier Lightning Lane, and that's for deluxe resort guests. And I'll explain that when I have an episode about lightning lanes. There's something called Photo Pass, or Memory Maker. Photo Pass, Memory Maker. That you can add on to your tickets. one person in your party just needs to add it because y'all being linked, and that there's photographers all over Disney Springs, everywhere. You'll see PhotoPass photographers, and you just scan your ticket when you go up. They'll take lovely pictures of you with professional cameras, and then boom, they appear in your My Disney Experience app. If you don't purchase Memory Maker, there'll be a watermark all over them. So actually, if you see if you're just taking pictures and see if they come out good, and at the end of the trip or whatever, you're like, oh, you know what, I really like these. You can purchase that, or you can purchase it ahead of time. But that's PhotoPass and Memory Maker. There are Disney dining plans. I'll have a whole episode about that, but that's an option too if you're staying on property. And there's tons of Disney extras that you can, Disney would love to take all your money. So there's special tours you can do. I actually had the privilege of doing the Keys to the Kingdom tour last February, and it was so much fun, but that's an extra ticketed thing. You pay extra for that. There's a lot of different tours, and I'll go into that in a separate episode, but you can do, that's an option. You could do special tours, VIP tours, things like that. There's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. There's actually one at Disney Springs, and there's one in Magic Kingdom as well. Really cute little girls or little boys can go and get all dressed up and do their hair and bibbidi bobbidi boo, sprinkle them with fairy dust. It's very, very cute. But that's an extra event as well. There are room enhancements. You can, if it's someone's birthday, you can pay for someone to come in and decorate the room. Like I said, magic bands, I kind of explained that before. There's a barber shop. You can get your hair cut. I had my baby's first haircut there. There's a barber shop also in Magic Kingdom. So there's tons of little extra things within Walt Disney World. Okay, so that's basically Walt Disney World in a nutshell. I know it is a lot. Don't worry, I'm going to break all those things down into specific episodes. So the next 4 episodes will be theme park specific. The next one will be about Magic Kingdom. After that, I'll have an episode just about Epcot. After that, one about Hollywood Studios, which was formerly MGM. And then finally one on Animal Kingdom. These episodes are going to be an overview of the park, and the segments will be broken down in future episodes to be even more specific. So look for an episode on tickets and lightning lanes and dining plans and dining options and things like that, right? Thank you so much for listening. I know this was kind of a lot, but fear not. I'll get more specific and in detail as the episodes go on. Thank you so much for listening to the Disney Days Planning Podcast. See you real soon.